seekers, to a tale that will curdle your blood and leave you shivering long after the credits roll. Tonight, we delve into the abyss of Amrit Apartment, a Bangalore high-rise where the line between reality and chilling nightmare blurs into a horrifying tapestry. Jessica and Thomas, a seemingly picture-perfect couple, stumbled upon a suspiciously cheap flat in the prestigious Amrit Apartment. Ecstatic about their newfound fortune, they moved in, blissfully unaware of the darkness that clung to the very foundation. Thomas, a ruthless businessman with an insatiable hunger for success, and Jessica, an heiress burdened by a suffocating sense of entitlement, were about to embark on a descent into a horror far surpassing their wildest nightmares. The first tendrils of unease arrived subtly. One evening, engrossed in a book, Jessica felt a fleeting touch on her shoulder. A chilling giggle echoed through the room, sending shivers cascading down her spine. Dismissing it as mere imagination, she turned the page, only to be met with a blood-curdling sight, a handprint, not of ink, but of a crimson so deep it seemed to pulsate with a life of its own. Panic clawed at her throat as she flipped through the book, each page revealing a horrifying message scrawled in a grotesque script. "I am yours. I am nearby. Find me." Fear turned into a suffocating presence that clung to Jessica like a shroud. The unsettling laughter returned, morphing into a heart-wrenching cry of a child. Stealing her nerves, Jessica turned around, bracing herself for the unknown. What greeted her was a spectral vision that would forever scar her sanity. A young girl, her body contorted in a grotesque parody of life, stood before her. One eye bulged out, blood oozing from the socket, while the other seemed to burn with an unnatural light. The figure, a skeletal hand outstretched in a silent plea, beckoned Jessica closer. The sight shattered Jessica's composure. She squeezed her eyes shut, praying for the apparition to vanish. A cold, clammy touch on her hand confirmed her worst fears. Peeking through her eyelids, she saw the chilling smile stretched across the girl's face, wider and more unnatural than before. Suddenly, a frantic pounding on the door shattered the chilling tableau. The spectral girl vanished as Thomas, his head bandaged and arm in a sling, stumbled in, muttering about a car accident. His arrival, however, only served to deepen the terror. Jessica's mind raced, connecting the dots. The cryptic message, the girl's words echoing Thomas's fabricated story, it all pointed towards a horrifying truth. The days that followed were a relentless torment. Alone in the apartment, the girl reappeared, a constant reminder of the malevolent entity that shared their space. The laughter haunted Jessica's waking moments, and sleep offered no solace. Each creak of the floorboards, each flicker of the lights, sent a jolt of terror through her. One day, as Jessica rode the elevator, a familiar darkness descended. The lights flickered and died, plunging her into an abyss of suffocating blackness. The chilling laughter echoed through the confined space, growing louder with each passing second. Panic clawed at her throat as she saw, reflected in the mirrored wall, not just the girl, but a woman beside her, their hollow eyes locked on Jessica's in a malevolent gaze. The elevator lurched to a stop, the doors groaning open to reveal the security guard standing there, concern etched on his face. He found Jessica crumpled on the floor, unconscious. Back in the apartment, the once comforting crucifix on the wall hung upside down, a grotesque mockery of faith. As Jessica lay trembling, the spectral girl reappeared, this time holding a dusty diary. Its pages, yellowed and brittle, held a chilling story. Ava, the woman from the elevator, recounted a tale of deceit and murder. She had married Thomas, blinded by his charm, but beneath the facade lurked a monster who coveted her daughter Stephanie's inheritance. The diary detailed Eva's horrifying realization of Thomas's true nature. He had orchestrated a car accident, a ploy to eliminate them both. Left to die in the very apartment Jessica now called home, Eva and Stephanie succumbed to hunger and thirst, their cries for help forever silenced by the thick walls. A single line at the end of the diary sent a jolt through Jessica. You are his next victim. Save yourself. As she turned the page, a family photo fell out. There, staring back at her with chilling familiarity, was Thomas, Eva, and a young girl with a bright smile, Stephanie. This was the place of their demise. Suddenly, the apartment door slammed open. Thomas stood there, a gun glinting in his hand. He launched into a rehearsed story about a break-in. But before Thomas could finish his charade, a blood-curdling scream ripped through the air. The spectral girl materialized behind him, her form flickering with an otherworldly energy. Her hollow eyes burned with an unholy rage, a stark contrast to the innocent smile in the photograph. In a voice that rasped like sandpaper against bone, the girl spoke, her words echoing through the room. "You will pay, Thomas," she hissed, the air growing thick with a cloying, putrid smell. "You will suffer as we suffered." Thomas, his bravado crumbling, stumbled back, the gun clattering to the floor. Jessica, fueled by a surge of adrenaline and righteous fury, lunged for the weapon. A desperate struggle ensued, the silence of the apartment shattered by the sounds of grunts and the clatter of furniture. Just as Jessica managed to overpower Thomas, the spectral girl intervened. With a touch that sizzled with unnatural energy, she slammed Thomas against the wall. His screams were abruptly cut short, replaced by a sickening crack. His eyes bulged from their sockets, his face contorted in a silent scream. Then, with a final, rattling breath, Thomas went limp. Jessica stared in horror, the gun falling from her grasp with a thud. The girl turned to her, a flicker of something akin to gratitude in her spectral eyes. Then, with a whisper that sounded like wind chimes in a graveyard, she spoke, "Thank you." The air shimmered, and the girl began to fade, her spectral form dissolving into wisps of cold mist. As the last traces of her presence vanished, a wave of bone-deep exhaustion washed over Jessica. Collapsing onto the floor, she sobbed uncontrollably, the weight of the ordeal crushing her. The police arrived shortly after, alerted by the commotion. Jessica, in a state of near catatonia, recounted the horrifying events. The officers, initially skeptical, found the diary and Thomas's body, the unnatural rigidity and contorted expression adding credence to Jessica's story. The investigation that followed was a macabre affair. The bodies of Ava and Stephanie were unearthed from the garden, their skeletons bearing the telltale signs of starvation and dehydration. Thomas's past was scrutinized, revealing a trail of financial discrepancies and suspicious accidents that had befallen his previous business associates. In the end, the official verdict was murder-suicide. Thomas, they concluded, had killed his wife and daughter in a fit of rage, then taken his own life. The truth, however, remained shrouded in the chilling shadows of Amrit apartment. Jessica, forever haunted by the ordeal, moved away, the spectral image of the young girl forever etched in her memory. But the story doesn't end there. Late at night, when the wind howls and the city sleeps, some claim to hear the faint echo of a child's laughter emanating from the abandoned apartment. Is it just the wind playing tricks, or a chilling reminder that some wounds never truly heal, and the restless spirits of the wronged forever seek solace, even in the terrifying embrace of vengeance?